south. When does it leave? It leaves tomorrow at 6 o'clock. 440 pounds. Do you sell anything that sells well there? We don't even sell this for anything. Let's buy the Panama hat. Oh no, I wanted this. You actually are worth money. Get rid of the... Get rid of the ginger chap. I think I just bought those. That didn't even save any inventory space. I bought the sailor's cap! That's my fault. Buy the hand mirror. The mirror seems to be occupying your attention somewhat. Look. For 500, he can leave today. That's almost $1,000. But you know what? Let's do it. I mean, we still have more money than we started with. F. Whose thumbnail? Whose emote is that? That's him. I have no idea who that is. Camilla was a Ifrit-class airship. Designed to invoke the glorious Pharaonic past, possibly as a with Egypt's Ottoman suzerains. And the envelope was painted all over with stylish poppies, and intricately feathered birds were picked all along her prow. It's tend to you a little bit. Despite Captain Lepoint's youth, we ascended from Suez in both orderly and timely fashion, and made good progress from Cortium. Let's see. Well, we need to go from Cortium to somewhere else. Why, passport 2? What do we need to know about Cortium? The Ottomans are worried about the rebellion will spread north from Catium. I believe someone can fly. The fare is expensive. Stone Town? Have you heard that you can pick candle scented from Rose and Batvia, extremely valuable in Hong Kong? An apple, Captain. What a marvelous idea. I wouldn't be surprised if some buyers will pay for bolts of pure silk from Ujia. Little Auckland. Via Eden. Where even is Auckland? Ujia is way down there. Where is Auckland? It's in there's Brisbane. Are you Auckland? Yeah, you're in New Zealand. What is Paris like? Captain Lepoint asked urinatingly over breakfast. My father talks of it often, but I've never been outside Africa. To understand Paris, you must see her, I told him wistfully. You must breathe her in and walk her streets and climb her towers and lie in her gutters is the only way to truly know my city. Later, when we had tethered in Cartium and we were making our farewells, Captain Lepoint seized my hand. Thank you for telling me of Paris, monsieur. Perhaps one day I would go there. Perhaps you will. I gave an encouraging smile. Every person should see Paris at least once in their lifetime, and that goes double for anyone with French blood. The captain gave me a quick nod, and then we swiftly swallowed up in the busy, shuffling streets of Cortium. So you're worth only 230. I mean, that's like not bad. But dear Abbas. Vadir Abbas is Saka. Bangalore. Madras. Are you Singapore, Batvia? But apparently we can go from here to Batvia. Persian Gulf? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. But I feel like that's kind of like not the way I want to go. Jungle Traveler. I feel like none of this... We'll buy you, because again, 5 pounds isn't that much. We can depart tomorrow. Honestly, I think we just get like a good night's sleep and call it a day. We'll explore first, so we can't go to bed right away. Okay, we can go from Cartium to Aden, but like, why would I want to go? I don't think I want to go to Aden. Or we go straight to Stone Town. It took a few hours to explore, investigating various options of how to continue our journey. Well, here's the thing. Is they were saying, well, you're 98 pounds. You're cheaper. You get there tomorrow. You'll be there tomorrow. They were talking about the Zulu and how they have, like, good airships. But, I mean, I feel like either of these would get us closer to, Ulundi. I guess we'll just take the cheaper one, then. Okay, let's go to the hotel. Okay, it costs about $100. Cortium was then conquered by the Ottoman Empire and the Egyptian subjects over half a century ago. While they had shaved visibility under the imperial yoke. The Hooker's pale palace cast a serene reflection on the river while the citizens muttered and plotted revolt. It was a hotbed. It was hot and irritable, and I took care to hide the fact from my master. But though I do not believe I was entirely successful, he forebode the remark upon my irritability. But otherwise, we passed a quiet evening in a southern Sudanese city. Or northern Sudanese city. I think we just go here. I think we go to Stone Town. Only 5 HP lost for this big, like, trip is not that much. We traveled to Stone Town on a sturdy Ottoman GX airship, fitted out at the diplomatic courier. Tend to Fogg a little bit, cup of tea. He gets like 3 HP upgrade. I spent my time in conversation with the British clerk who had been transferred from his post from Istanbul to the consulate in Stone Town. I've been promoted, I asked, with a smile, only to see his expression darken. Oh no, he said flatly. I was accused of improper diligence and a Turkish noblewoman. Did the accusation have merit? The clerk turned his face away, which was good as an answer. I regret nothing, except he sighed. I did not realize that hers was a greater risk. Though she tried to warn me, I suppose I was a fool. Love makes a fool of us all. I leaned upon the railing and looked out over the coastline. True enough, the clerk agreed, as we approached the Cardan Sturan island of Zanzibar, rising lush and giving off the African coast. Is there anything in the market? Colombo. And there's the soldiers and luxurious types. Colombo. Colombo. It's in Sri Lanka. But again, we're going to go down south even more. Stone Town was the capital of the Omani Sultanate of Zanzibar. Though outwardly the Omanis ruled, they are essentially British vassals. The British Navy patrols the island and the giant coast beyond. The island's air is thick with spice. Or, I heard a rumor of an explorer living so and some of the ladies of the market who claimed he got spotted at Ujiji on the shore of Lake Tanganyika. I rushed to tell Monsieur Fogg, who listened to the measure of interest. Perhaps we should consider following Livingstone's trail, he offered. After all, no Englishman knows the African continent so well. At dinner, I confronted Monsieur Fogg about the disturbing observation. I had seen many slaves attending to Omani rulers and working on the sweet-smelling plantations. All this was under the notions of British representatives. Why did the British permit this? I shook my head. Her Majesty exerted her influence over the Omanis to suppress the international trade, my master explained. This is an internal matter. We have a mandate only against international slavery. And we still buy their slave-grown spices while melding our abolitionism. I could not keep the bitterness from my tone. So that is how it is. Of what the natives of the island of Zanzibar think, I have little to report. They reveal little to me, and treat Monsieur Fogg and myself the same defense as their Arab masters. We need to leave at some point. We can go here. Oh! We can go down south towards you. Going out to Aden at this point would be suicide. I mean, we're already 15 days in. Only one small thing to note, I was walking in the streets, I caught a glimpse of the clerk from the airship. He appeared to dash inside the building with an extremely local girl. I let it go. I tell myself, '2, you cannot save everyone, less of all from themselves. Okay, I see that you can go. Arrive today. Departing in 20 minutes. Yeah, go right now. I don't have 20 minutes to wait. I want to see what airships the Zulus have. Or if that rumor has any validity at all. Captain Dula of the airship that bore us from Stone Town to Qualmine was a scared older Bantu woman dressed in the Omani style. I was born a slave, she told us abruptly. If you do not wish to introduce yourself to me, I will not be offended. I would never slight a woman so. I reached for her hand and kissed the air above her weathered skin. She drew it as my touch burned. A woman, she hissed. So my gender erasure is the same of my bondage to you. My apologies, I spoke unthinkingly about again. I do not disdain slaves or those who have been enslaved, no matter their gender. Captain Dula regarded me sharply and then nodded. A good answer. Be welcome aboard my ship. Greetings, Captain. You are enjoying a ride, I trust? What, pray, tell me about Qualmine. I need to go from here to Aludi, I believe it was? Yes. As the sun dipped below the ocean haze horizon, we reached the port of Qualmine. Did I not have time to talk to her? Did I move, by looking at the map, did I screw that up? The Panama hat will sell nicely here. 130 pounds? We can buy a gun. Batvia. 2500. Desert Traveler set. Part of the engineering set. I mean, I'll buy it anyways. For 33 pounds isn't like a big deal. We still have this. I mean, if we go to Batvia... Anything here to sell? 99? You sell for nothing. Let's buy it. Let's see. We have three suitcases. I don't think there's really anything else we can do here right now, so let's go to sleep. The chattering insects mingled with the smell of the sea. I was long away from home, and yet I felt more content. I mean, we gotta leave soon, right? Yes, okay, we found another route. Qualmine was the only official port of entry for the Zulu Federation, which spanned most of South Africa. Not only that, but also these days called African Amsterdam. A nexus for trade in diamonds, which brought unprecedented wealth to the Zulu Federation. Two young tea plantation workers passed by, and they decided to greet the Indian girl in a dusty sari, who immediately giggled as I kissed her hand while flashing a smile. Clearly, I had chosen a better target. I was about to allow myself to smile of satisfaction when I saw her companion's eye fixed on me with a look that nearly scorched me. Such was its seething hatred. I tried to determine how I had offended her so utterly in such a short span. I followed her gaze to where she held fast on her companion's arm. She met my eyes challengingly and caressed the other girl's skin once, very deliberately. So that's how it was. The Indian girl giggled fetchedly again, and gave her companion an exasperated and fond look. I'm actually sure my rude friend is Razia. They quickly beckoned me to the nearby tea shop. I said on them questions about the Zulu Federation. It's the most powerful force in Africa, Razia said. The Emperor Castawai runs it with an iron will. They say he wants to take over all of Africa. They said Keto was a sorcerer, as she says. He can control Anthnwam with his mind. An able statement, certainly, I replied. Castaway has been received to Quake Victoria's court only a few years previously. They're not just stories. The Zulu impi who's courting my auntie said so. Your aunt is courting a Zulu warrior? I queried, astonished. Are they not celibate? They can't marry if that's what you mean. With a sudden grin, Rashimi's auntie has him well under her thumb nonetheless. Rasheshi tossed her head. Neither of you believe me, but as what he told me, and we would know, and what he would know. I thank both of them for their help, and with great courtesy before I returned to Monsieur Fogg, unsure of whether I had truly learned anything valuable that was probably through the Zulu Federation, upon whose border we now stood. I mean, we're actually pretty high up here. When do you leave? 6 p.m.? 20 pounds for extra space. You know, it's not bad. So, I mean, if the Zulu Empire is all the way up here, the Zulu Federation is doing pretty well for themselves. Because I think Zulu, historically, was like just this area here. The Shibeli was a rigged helium-filled metal balloon, an African invented and produced form of air travel. It seemed impossible that it could hang in the air, and yet it did. A copper moon gleamed inside the bright African sky. Tent of Fog, Ep.2, your care is highly calming. We were accompanied on a journey to Ulundi by a strange, macabre sight of wheeling squadrons of wood and copper birds with diamond shards spinning in their hollow chest. The purpose of the sky seemed clear enough. We were being escorted and watched now as we were in Zulu airspace. The Zulu Federation crew waved and called out to them respectively. I've never seen such Anthnwam. Little wonder, said one of the navigators. They are Zulu creations designed by the Emperor Sagoma and the service of our ruler. I mean, I want to talk to you, but maybe I can't. The Anthnwam birds flew with us all night and escorted us right to the capital of Ulundi. Scattered only when our engines stilled, we descended with a graceful arc. We have to explore Ulundi to find an onward journey. Okay, that's... Didn't even have a market here. We were escorted into an impromptu audience with Emperor... Okay, apparently we just meet the Emperor. And of course I greeted him courteously, bowing with a courtly flourish that would not have been out of place in Versailles. After all, magic or no, he was the most powerful man for 1,000 miles. Liege lord of a half-dozen states and the kingdoms which comprised the Zulu Federation. And a warrior in his own right. Greetings, you return. So, he asked, in English only mildly flavored with Dutch vowels, what is it you want? We are travelers, your imperial majesty. I glanced at my master, who looked tight-lipped at my presumption. We seek passage through your lands. There are ships from Quigman to Blofstein, he replied. You did not need to set a single foot upon my land. We did not realize, I replied. You must have come in through Quellerman, he replied. There is no other way into the Federation. Pausing to wave away a fly, he smiled. You have come to see me, I think. Why is that? Are you spies to your country? We are looking for the fastest way around the world, I replied, my voice shivering. Around the world, the Emperor echoed, with evident curiosity. All the way around. Indeed so, your majesty. He seemed delighted at the idea. Very good. I suppose it could be done? How far have you gotten? Or is this how far you've gotten? I nodded. In 17 days. Casio nodded, his tone shifted a little. An interesting tale. Quite suddenly, a bright light was shining in my face. I waited motionless, understanding that I was being tested. The light came from the eye of a bird of prey automation. It hovered just before my face for perhaps a minute. Then it wheeled back to the dais to perch on the Emperor's cataway shoulder. It seemed to speak into the Emperor's ear. He nodded. I waited for a verdict. Peshka says you're telling the truth, Cashway announced. Could the bird read on minds? Did it share the sorcery of its master? The small palace seemed suddenly a place of great danger, as though the mat-strewn floor was tiled with traps. You look at me, he said, like nothing so much as a performing monkey, so tell me, what is your purpose? He pointed at my master. You carry his bags and festoon his buttons. I attend to his person, but this man is your equal. I am paid for my work. The Emperor thought for a moment. He shook his head. I have heard of this personal service before, of course. I do not understand it. Be a slave, a subject, or be free. Yes, your majesty. I should not complain of your vanities, he said at length. It is what you will make your people easy to defeat in the end, despite your iron and your guns. An empty threat, surely. The Emperor had pressed his will on the African chieftains and princes, and defeated the British and pushed back the French and Portuguese. But did he believe he was himself capable of conquering the world? Or did he simply wish to make a myth of himself with such threats and tales? I will show you something. The Emperor led us into the enclosure behind the main chamber. At first, it was quiet, and then one by one, diamond-hearted Anthnwam began to emerge in the shape of bead-winged birds. Honey badgers? Leopards. And even little darting lizards. All were fluttering and slinking and pacing around him. He turned to look at me. Every single automaton turned its head in unison with him. Please, he gestured, try to run. I shook my head. I know long odds when I see them, your majesty, I replied. He laughed deeply and nodded. Long odds indeed, he agreed. Shall I show you my secret? Sure, why not? The Emperor smiled and removed his headband and inclined his face into the right. On the side of his head, I saw an incision mark and glittered edge of a diamond autonomous-shaped shard embedded deep in his brain. What have you done to yourself? I asked in grudging fascination. Emperor Castaway ignored my question and said, I show you this as a warning. Tell your prince and king. Tell your eager tradesmen and grasping missionaries. Tell them I protect this land and I'll drink their blood if they try to take it. I heard his message word for word, knowing that I would deliver it through chattering teeth whether I wished to or not. In a way, his embarked shard was now controlled me. Then, the moment passed, the Emperor glanced up at an enormous airship above us and immediately began to descend towards us. Now the Emperor declared, where do you wish to go around your journey? Anavaria? Where's that? We can go here, or we can go to Bahi, which is South Africa. I mean, if we want to go to Latvia, we probably want to go here. Anaharu, he smiled. You wish to visit my very clever friend, Queen Navalia. I'll let her know you are coming. And that was the last he said to us. We boarded the craft and began to make a ready lift in the air. Your character's now suave. And you don't like us as much. Okay. Yeah, so he just controls robots with his mind. Not really what I expected, but sure. Oh, do not close the window by accident. So yeah, we just meet the Emperor. That's just how things go sometimes. Sometimes you just meet the Emperor. Only a few hours journey from Alundi to Advandio, but it was unsettled by the thought of Emperor Castaway could hear and sense through the airship. I took the trident very lightly and practiced a great deal of discretion in my speech just in case. I'm at your service, Monsieur Fogg. Passepartout? I gave a wish list. That would be most entertaining. The journey will be most expensive, Monsieur. Indeed, but we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as we travel. So he's bet a lot of money on this. Little autonomous lizards and polecats roam the decks, proving an utter plague for Monsieur Fogg. I don't even know what a polecat is. The polecats took a great pleasure in shredding my master's paper with their ivory claws and shed their beads into his lap. I think perhaps Emperor Castaway is enacting petty revenge via his intermediary as Passepartout, Monsieur Fogg commented. Does he lend him his intellect, do you think? I asked carefully, or do they think for themselves? My master looked surprised at the question. I do not wish to know which is more disquieting. In that we were in agreement, we tethered to the port of Advandio in good time, guided by the mind of the Emperor and the favorable winds. And here we are. Okay, so we'll sleep until tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff for Latvia. Advandio was a city forged to the will of its artificial queen, Ravania II. It was a peaceful and prosperous city despite this. It was warmed and cooled by the intrinsic system of hypercost. Out in the field, cunning Anthnwam dug wells and tilled the land. The queen surely had not actually built it all, despite what her subjects so proudly claim. I read a monograph on Queen Ravania II's history in the Reform Club. Is that so? Indeed. You do not think we would come this way without my having some prior knowledge? But of course, her choice, he continued, was forced to conversion to Protestantism and the alloy of Britain or Catholicism to side with France, but instead she chose artificizing an Emperor Castaway. Hardly original, I insisted. Some would say that they are in competition. The Pope certainly thinks so. My master said contemplatively, but both religion and artificing are means of power. Both Advandio and her queen are unexpected curiosities. And seeing that there are many ways to wield power, as there are nations upon this earth, and make no mistake. We caught wind of several airships. Most headed back west into the Zulu Federation lands, and only one headed east towards Colombo and Madras. 4 days to cover such distance was good fortune indeed. Can hardly wait to step aboard. So you're going to go to Colombo. So we're going all the way to Africa. I feel like this is not I feel like there had to be a better way than this, right? Because if we were going to go to India, we would have just gone to a den. Like, this is much faster. Engineering sets, whiskey. Shaving kit. Healing suave. Our completed criminal set should help us negotiate times of lawless journey. I want to see if we can get a different route. We stood side by side on the very edge of the wild ocean, staring eastward into the long afternoon. I don't feel much, began slowly. You have gone very far in 18 days. We have come all the way through Africa, I replied. Perhaps, he continued, there will be an efficient route out of Anthnwam. If there is not, I fear this path has been an ill-considered one. We've had a reason, I told him. I inhaled a sharp breath. The Foggs, he added thoughtfully, they were sailors. Yes, monsieur. You know what? I reminded him of my position. He had remembered his own, I sensed, any nascent confessions. Strange, beautiful airship guided over the ocean, docking at the cliff's edge. Woman in Zulu headdress. You two, she called. Fogg and Passepartout, are you not? It was the Queen. We bowed deeply as she approached. Gentlemen, I confess myself quite curious, the good Queen remarked. Caswell must have liked you, and he's not easily pleased. Will you come aboard? I judged from Monsieur Fogg to lead the way as he doffed his hat and stood aboard. The ship was lustily fitted, and Queen Valodia II provided us with every comfort, as though we were ambassadors or heads of state. I understand you're going around the world, she said. You're very well informed, Your Majesty, I replied. I should hope so, I said. I am a queen of an island, to be sure. Perhaps more one day. I did not need to ask what she meant. That she and Emperor Caswell had an understanding was much more than clear. Our objective is simple. Okay, blue blood. We'll organize the entire globe in 80 days or fewer. I believe it will never be done. Or I believe it has never been done. That surprised me, she replies. That it's never been done in this age of airships. I can imagine your journey taken, she considers a moment. 2 weeks, perhaps? 2 weeks? But surely, she replied. Why, with enough fuel, the ship could fly around the world in that time. How much fuel is that? I asked hungrily. She asked, no. She said firmly, I have no desire to be shot down while crossing the Amazon rainforest. She poured us a glass of wine each and leaned back. But I can offer you some aid. I do not need this ship for a few days. Take her to Rangoon. Thank you, Your Majesty. Okay, Rangoon is... I mean, I think it's a little bit past... Is that in, I mean, I guess that's better. I mean, Brisbane probably actually would have been a better option. Okay, when can we go? We can arrive Monday. 730 pounds? Thought I'd be getting the airship for free. On Monday. It's Friday. That'll definitely take too long. Okay, you know what? We'll stay in a hotel. It's going to cost us 34 health to go to... Well, let's depart. Because you're 730. You're 770, but you don't go till when... Well, you arrive on Wednesday. You arrive on Monday. That's actually really fast.